Reptilians, welcome back to my channel. So, oh my goodness guys, I am so excited. This week, I am introducing you guys to my new pet. Now this is something that I have wanted for such a long time, and if you guys have been following my channel for a little while, you know that this is something that my husband did not want in my house. But finally, after all this time, I convinced him that it was gonna be okay. Really quick before I say what it is, put in the comments down below what your guess is. Hint, it is not a ferret. Unfortunately, that battle is still going to rage on for quite a while. But I got a pink toe tarantula. I am so excited, guys. I don't know, he hasn't molted yet, but his name is Calypso from Borderlands, the Calypso twins, since I don't know if it's a male or a female. Calypso is super adorable and I'm beyond happy. He came from Animal Tracks. You guys know that I frequent that store often in Madison, Alabama. But let's get to the video. Really quick before we get started, this video is sponsored by the Dubia Dude, so make sure to stay until the end of this video to find out how you can save 10% off of your order at thedubiadude.com. Let's get started. So for this setup, I'm actually using this 12 by 12 by 18 that I actually set up in my budget Bioactive build. I knew that I wanted to go Bioactive for him, and pink toes are actually Arboreal, so this is the perfect size for an adult. I decided to go ahead and get this set up and move him in, even though I wasn't sure how he would do, but he has been eating wonderfully. He is a very active and very ferocious eater, so he's been doing good in there. Happy about that decision, but maybe it's not the best decision a lot of the time because tarantulas can not want to eat if they're in too big of a space. But anyway, we're going to use this tank. At this point, it is super dirty because it's just been set up like this. The plant in the back left is a dwarf umbrella tree. It was actually in the crocodile skinks tank and it was dying in there, and I put it in here and it's been doing absolutely wonderful, and you can see how wonderful the bamboo has been doing. This bamboo is the original bamboo that I put into this tank, and I was going to take it out because it is overgrowing, but I kind of liked the super full look that it's giving it, and it's going to give him a lot of cover and a lot of places to web. I got a lot of information from the Dark Den here on YouTube. I saw that he had an avicularia tarantula that he set up in a bioactive way, so I thought that it'd be cool to do calypsos like that as well. So I'm not sure why I did it in this order, but I guess I just got excited. Here are my springtails. We are going to add springtails. Still haven't cleaned that glass, if you notice, and I haven't done any of the rearrangements that I wanted to, but for some reason I've started putting springtails in first. Just in case you are not familiar, springtails are a cleanup crew, so what that means is that they are going to clean up any waste that the tarantula produces, which isn't going to be a lot, but also any leftover remnants of bugs will be cleaned up, and they convert all that waste to nutrients for those plants. So those are a vital part of a bioactive setup to make sure that your plants stay alive and your tank stays clean. And just a quick disclaimer, this is not a care guide, this is not a setup guide, this is just how I set up for my tarantula. This is my first tarantula I've ever had, so please don't take this as the way that you should care for a tarantula. Next up, we are putting in leaf litter. Leaf litter is going to help those springtails hide, and it's also going to help with humidity. A pink toe does need a higher humidity, and as these leaves break down, the springtails are going to eat them and turn those into nutrients for the plants as well. And then I realized that I actually didn't want this stick in there. I wanted a different piece of driftwood in this tank, so I had to kind of shimmy it out and put the new piece in. This piece of wood has been used in several other tanks, so we did saw it down some, and I thoroughly sanitized it. I washed it with Dawn dish soap and made sure to get all that soap off, and then I baked it in the oven to further sterilize it, so it has been re-sterilized for this tank.
And then I'm just adding more decorations, including a fake plant to fill in the front just to make this space feel more enclosed to him. Again, this is not something that you have to or need to do at all for a tarantula. You guys know I love my bioactive setups and I love my tanks to look good. So this is 100% my preference, and Calypso is eating and doing well. So if you don't want to do something like this, you don't have to, and you 100% don't need to. And that is it. I am just spraying this tank down, and I added a small water dish and only filled it up a little bit with water. Calypso does have about a 2.5-inch leg span, so he is still pretty small, so I don't want to fill it up too much, but that is it. It is time to put him in the tank. This proved to be a little bit difficult because, again, I am completely new to this, so handling a tarantula outright still makes me pretty nervous. So what I ended up doing was putting the container that he came in a Sterilite bin, and then using this cup to get him into the cup. That way, if he did decide to bolt at me, he wouldn't escape into my room. He would have a bigger container to escape into, and he did not want to come out of this cup, so I actually ended up just leaving the cup in there until he felt comfortable enough to come out on his own. And eventually he did come out. It took about an hour and a half, but he did come out after the lights went out and immediately started climbing, which made me super happy. But as far as the setup goes, that is it for the setup. I know this isn't as detailed as my setups normally are, but that's because this tank was already set up. I will leave the link right here if you are interested in watching how I did originally set this tank up. Luckily, I didn't have to let this tank sit for a long time because it was already cycled. I guess you don't really cycle a bioactive tank, but everything was already rooted. It was already a good amount of springtails in there. I just kind of refreshed them. He very quickly picked his favorite corner, and this is where he spends most of his time. He will come out to the front of the tank almost every single time I open it. I'm assuming it's because of the hard clicking that the Exoterra lock makes, and he can probably feel the vibrations, and he knows that water or food is happening, which I thought that was super cool. And just a quick temperature check. I was able to get 3 temperature zones in here, about 72, 73 on the bottom. In the top left, it stays about 75, and on that right wall, it stays at about 78 to 80 degrees, and that is because there is actually a small heat pad on my Gargo Gecko's tank, which is right up against this tank, and it actually heats that wall up a little bit, which I thought was really cool. That way, I don't have to have a heat pad directly on his tank, but he likes to stay in that corner where it's nice and warm, I've noticed. So apparently it is working well. The pink-toed tarantula, or Avicularia, are originally from South America, so that means that they like it warm and wet. So I try to keep up with those conditions in this tank. And this is his other favorite spot to hide. He stays in both of these places, and he builds webs in both of these places, which makes it really nice when I go to feed him, because I can just drop his crickets in one of those webs, whichever area he is stationed at, and then he takes those crickets, no problem. And this is exactly what I was talking about. I opened his tank and he immediately started coming out to me. I really think that he just doesn't like being sprayed, and that clicking sound is now associated with me spraying that tank. So he just kind of moves out of the way because he always moves to this spot, and this is the spot that I don't spray. I don't know, that's just my thoughts. I don't know how spiders work. I know that their brain is like non-existent. I just think it's cute. And as far as feeding footage of this guy, I unfortunately have none. Trying to get footage of a tiny little mouth wrapped around a tiny little cricket at nighttime is super hard. You can kind of see a leg, a cricket leg there maybe. Unfortunately, in the 3.5 weeks that I've had him, I haven't been able to get any, but I will definitely keep trying.
And that is it. Calypso is just so adorable with her fuzzy little butt. She's so cute, and we will find out if she's a male or a female when she molts. But yeah, I'm super excited. Hey guys, just wanted to say really quick, I got a P.O. box. So I know that there have been a couple of you guys that have asked to send me things, and I always just kind of have to say no thank you or sorry. But I finally got a P.O. box, so I will leave that information here, and I will also leave it down in the description below. But if you want to send me something, feel free to. And also, don't forget, I do have Reptilian shirts and bearded dragon, winged bearded dragon shirts, and all of that is down below too. So just wanted to quickly hop in and say that. As I said at the beginning of this video is sponsored by the Dubia-Doo. The Dubia-Doo.com is such an awesome place to get feeder roaches for your animal. Roaches are super clean, especially when compared to crickets, and they are also a lot healthier than crickets. They can be fed to most reptiles. My Pac-Man frog eats them. I have been trying to get Calypso to eat them as well. The Dubia-Doo also does his best to reduce, reuse, and recycle, and while he's doing that, he's feeding those roaches all organic. So you can rest assured that you are getting super healthy feeders for your animal as well. And did I mention how easy that ordering process is to navigate? It's literally just a couple clicks and you have roaches delivered directly to your house. Don't forget to use my code L at thedubiadoo.com to save 10% off of your order. Thank you so much to the Dubia-Doo for sponsoring this video. But that is it, guys. As always, please feel free to follow me on my other socials and like, subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications every single time I put out a new video, which is every Sunday. This week's Instagram shout out goes to Then Tucker for following me on Instagram, going through and like I hold my stuff. Thank you so much. You are the bee's knees. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye.